It stands as a monument to an entire nation's dream. 249 feet high, it's the tallest structure in Hampton. Scientists at the NASA Langley Research Center now use it to crash test planes. The huge erector set was built in the 60s. Completed in 1965, it took 2.5 years to construct. Its sole purpose? To help put American men on the moon. Back then, it was called the Lunar Landing Research Facility. NASA test pilot Lee Person came to Langley in 1962. He remembers spending days here inside the Lunar Excursion Module Simulator. An awkward-looking spacecraft dangled from wires, so technicians and the astronauts could set engine controls and learn to maneuver as if they were on the moon. Not only did the contraption simulate conditions men would find in 1/6 the gravity of Earth, Langley even built a realistic moonscape, backlit to make the craters look deeper.
The task down there was to look at the last 150 feet of descent onto the surface of the moon. So you would start at some initial position in the vehicle, and then your mission was to take the vehicle and translate it downrange, and they would put an X on the ground and land on the X.
24 astronauts trained in the LEM lookalike, which is now at Hampton's Virginia Air and Space Center. Among them, the man who would be first on the moon, Neil Armstrong.
They would come in and we would talk to them about what we'd been doing, and then we would watch them fly and get their comments, and eventually the engineers would go back and regroup and reformulate the things that they were doing, and we'd try it again, and then we're ready for them to take another look at it. They'd get called back in again.
Trial and error were Langley's specialties. Also tested in Hampton, some ways men might get around on the moon that never quite left Earth. Life imitated the movies with this space backpack that barely got off the drawing board. But Person, who tried out this lunar pogo stick, remembers it flew pretty well. Hands-on is how historians and employees would describe the work done at Langley for Apollo and the rest of the space effort.
The people really worked together beautifully. Start, as I mentioned, build the simulator. We go out there and you see the lunar landing facility. You see the docking simulator. You see some landing simulators that we had devised to convince ourselves that rendezvous in space was elementary.
All of Langley's years of testing would pay off July 20th, 1969, with one small step for man. Kathy Barnsdorf, 13 News, Hampton.
Very fine.